Not yet.
Not yet is crazy, but fact. All right. But welcome to Talks with Johnson. My name is Johnson Celestin, as usual, and we are on the TWJ podcast.
Let's go.
And today we got a new guy on a new guest on the show. Give yourself away, man. Well, not give yourself away, but
yeah. Pretty much. My name's Logan Motika, local to Stanford, live in New Canaan. But I met these two fellows last year. I went to
That was
UConn
last
Stanford.
year?
No way.
2
That
years
was
ago
2
at this
years
point.
ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
My freshman year. Wow.
It's been
That's
that
crazy.
long.
yeah.
My freshman year, I went to UConn Stanford for a year. Met these two guys in
Hooligans.
Sociology
class.
with,
That's where we all met each other. Period.
Bunyan.
with Bunyan. Yeah. Great professor, honestly.
Great professor.
All met, kicked it off. Well, I don't know. It just stemmed from there. One
Yeah.
thing led to another, and we became friends.
Facts,
So-
facts.
And then you left us.
He quite
I did.
literally, he quite
did.
literally left us. I started my business because of Logan, low key.
Oh, the odd jobs thing?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, get into this part of it.
When'd you start that?
So what do you do? Explain to them what do you do.
I'll be very vague because
That's fine.
He's a bodybuilding odd jobber.
well, the problem is now it's getting very saturated
Right.
because
right,
more and more people are doing it.
Right.
Let's just say dump runs, odd jobs, handyman type stuff.
Yeah.
Just build up a clientele. You got to have a truck or some kind of vehicle in order to move the stuff. But
Right.
pretty much just doing that. Like I said, just building that network. The more people you know, more jobs you'll get. But working for yourself
Facts.
is amazing, as you know.
You get to pick your own hours.
Yeah, building your own schedule, and it was great when I was here because I was able to take classes and get an education, and then also go drive
Work.
20 minutes down the street and make $100 in
Yeah.
20 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's like when I was home, honestly, I definitely missed that about here. Like I just can't do that down in Virginia, but yeah, it's a good gig. I would say I'm still doing it now, and I'm still making decent money. So
What's stopping you from doing it in Virginia?
I don't have a dump pass. I also can't get the app to work down there because I'm not a resident technically.
Right. So we're not gonna say the name of the app, but there's an
Yeah,
app that we
there's
use.
a few apps
There's
that
a
you can
few
use,
apps.
but
few apps.
I've
to
told
work.
people about it, and more people are trying to do it. So I'm trying to keep it on the down low. I usually just tell that I really can trust, and I know he's far enough away from me that
It won't affect your
that,
business.
that it won't affect my business because I'm not.
And we do different things too. Like you're
Yeah,
a dump
yeah.
runner. I do dump runs occasionally.
But you do more like painting and stuff, right?
Exactly.
And
So I
then
do painting and flooring.
you started going, yeah. So then he took it a step further, which I'm honestly so proud of you for doing
Thank you,
that. It's
bro.
amazing, man, that you started
Appreciate
that. Doing the flooring and painting and all that stuff, man. It's so cool.
Thank
So
you, bro.
cool.
Thank
Such
you.
a big step, man. People don't understand that. Going to school
Appreciate
and running a business. It's crazy. Crazy.
It's stressful, but it's worth the stress. I'd rather be stressed due to
No.
my business.
I'd rather be stressed now and then be chilling in 5
Yeah.
to 10 years.
I'd rather be stressed that too. I'd rather be stressed running my own business instead of stressed with still working where I was working.
It's
before.
temporary suffering for long-term
Long-term,
happiness,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah, 100%.
When I was working at every single Friday night, I'd clock into a McDonald's
I
shift
remember that, man.
at 10 p.m. and I'd get out Saturday morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Jeez.
and I'd be the manager on. It was my shift every Friday night, and I never had a regular sleep routine on Saturdays for 3 years.
Dude, I remember when we first met each other, we got to know each other. You got zero sleep.
Ever.
Sleep did not exist. Sleep was not
Ever.
part of your schedule.
It wasn't, dude.
Yeah.
That is so bad.
I know.
I don't know how you functioned, how you were able to retain information, and still, it was hard to keep up with you mentally. Personally, it was hard to keep up with you. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we learned about it a lot in my health psychology class this past year at Richmond, the importance of sleep, especially for cognitive function,
Mhm.
Right.
and the fact that I don't know the statistic off my head,
Right.
but a vast majority of college, high school students are not getting 8 hours.
100%.
And
100%.
In your research, why were they not getting enough sleep?
It's just a
What
lot
was
of it is being overworked or having too much work, and then also just being addicted to our phones. And being on our phones and wasting time before bed because
So was there a significant increase in sleep deprivation when like the phones started to get more in use?
Yeah, I mean, over time, they've seen sleep, like the importance of it. People are like looking at it as less and less important because
Right.
people are running off of 6 hours, people are running off of 5 hours. But when
Right.
when you're an adult versus a developing young adult, it's very different.
Different. You know?
Adults
so?
can run off of because when your brain, when you're our age or even
It's
younger,
still developing.
we're still developing. I mean, I hate that people say people say, "Oh, you're done developing at 25." It's not true. You're not done developing at 25. Your brain, there's neuroplasticity in your brain. Your
Right.
brain will always change. So the people when they go, "Oh, boys are done at 25 to 27 or something like that," and then girls are done, I want to say 22. Don't quote me on it
Right,
because
right.
it's just numbers
Just
I'm
something-
throwing out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just throwing them out.
Right.
But when people say that, it drives me crazy, man, because you're never done developing.
Yeah.
But they see that the older you get, the less cognitive, I guess, growth you're gonna have. Like
Right.
you kind of level off in a way,
Right. Right.
and that's why they say like when you hit around like
like you hit a plateau.
yeah, you hit a plateau. in
I
a
don't think
sense.
I don't think people understand what it means for when your brain stops developing. Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so quick.
Because like, do you just stop learning?
No,
new
no.
things?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So a quick little
Right.
neuroscience
That's
lesson.
That's what people assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason they say the age of 25 is because our brains, when we're kids to about 25 for men,
Right.
are growing and developing rapidly. Like every year, our brain is changing.
Right.
Compared to a 30-year-old, obviously you can build new neural connections in the
Right.
sense of like I can get better at playing tennis. I can build those neural connections and the muscle memory and build it still because we still have plasticity. It's not like we hit 30 and we're just like,
Plateau.
okay, we can't do anything now.
Right.
We can't learn any new tasks. We can't do anything.
Right.
It's just that when we're younger, that ability is heightened.
Right.
But there's many things that can induce neurogenesis, like exercise,
Right.
correct nutrition, correct sleep. There's a lot of things that if you take care of yourself, and like I took a class, another one at Richmond, a neuroscience class, exercise and neuroscience was really interesting. And we were learning about pretty much that if you take care of your body will take care of you.
Right.
If you eat correctly, which is obviously there's limiting factors to it.
Right.
Socioeconomical status, food deserts, there's a lot of limiting factors
Right.
for that issue there. But if you can take care of your body, it will do miracles for you, man.
Wonders for you.
Wonders.
Yeah.
Can't emphasize it enough, man. Can't
Yeah.
emphasize it.
100%. I going back to like sleep. I felt like when I started sleeping after, like, I go to church on Friday nights. So when I actually went to sleep after church instead of going to work and waking up whenever I woke up on Saturdays and being able to function normally, I felt way better.
I mean, yeah, I have a crazy schedule at school. I mean, the average college student thinks I'm insane.
Right.
I wake up around, even here, I wake up around 7 a.m.
Right.
Usually get up, I'll either hop in the cold shower or go in the ice bath.
Right.
And then usually I'll go on like a run or do some kind of like morning stretch workout just to get
What time did you say you wake up?
like 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
But the key will get interesting at the end. Then I'll go through my day, do whatever. Eat around like 5. I usually eat like an earlier meal, like 5 to 6, just because I let my body digest before I go to sleep.
Right.
And I'm usually in bed at like 9 o'clock. Like I'm in bed
used
reading my
to do
book
that.
at 9 o'clock.
I used to do that. I used to sleep really early, but due to like scheduling and how my classes are more in the afternoon and evening, that's swapped.
Yeah.
But like I feel like my mental health was way better when it was like I was able to go to sleep at 9 o'clock. So my schedule currently now, it's like I wake up at 5 every day. Like my body's used to just waking me up at 5. Period. Now I don't even need an alarm.
Just out of curiosity, what's your caffeine consumption like?
None.
Yeah, I don't.
I had a feeling.
Nothing.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do caffeine. This is from Josh. I got yesterday, and I barely do caffeine.
Yeah,
ever.
I don't drink
Why?
caffeine.
It's not.
Wait,
Um,
did you stop or?
Yeah,
is it
so
just-
so I took pre-workout like before the gym, sometimes like 150 milligrams, 125.
Mhm.
But I actually found that since I most likely have ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD, it actually
Adverse effects.
it calms me down and
Okay.
it helps me focus. So, tip for people who are undiagnosed ADHD: drink a little caffeine before your exams. I found that I would test it before. Don't just go and do that randomly.
And then go like Logan
yeah,
said.
and then be like Logan said. Yeah, Logan said take whatever, drink 100 milligrams of caffeine, but do
Right.
something moderate. Do like 80 to 100 milligrams, and do it about like 20, 30 minutes before your exam or before work, whatever you're gonna do. Just see how it affects you. Because I was like, I took 120, and I was like, man, like I don't feel any more energetic.
Yeah, for sure.
Than I did without it. But caffeine's a stimulant, so people who have a hard time focusing, as myself, it'll actually help with that focus and help
same
you
with me.
hone in on stuff. So yeah,
I have to
100%.
consume like a large amount in order for me to actually start to focus.
well,
Like a large.
Then it's
amount.
probably
you
different
build
for you.
You're gonna build a tolerance, and everyone's
So
different.
I've
for you.
built
Yeah.
a tolerance
Because you've
in
been drinking coffee. I mean, not coffee, like
Celsius.
Celsius
Mhm.
and other energy drinks for years.
I remember when I was
Yeah.
here, which was
Dude, he had
2
one
years ago.
every single day. Like
Dude,
you would
it
not
wasn't
catch.
just
you
one.
pulled up the Bunyan class every morning. and
every
had the
morning
It
with
Celsius.
wasn't
Celsius.
just one though.
Dude,
Like,
that was like
yeah.
his breakfast, bro.
Yeah, I remember you used to bring cereal. You'd have the box of cereal.
oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Celsius, you'd
yeah.
be drinking Celsius and just have a
Dude,
box
that's
of
not
cereal.
healthy, bro. Like,
No.
that's
No.
not healthy.
It's
at
Dude,
all.
it was an early class.
Mental
What
health,
was it,
bro.
8
It was an 8 a.m.
It, was,
8 a.m.
it wasn't.
class.
Dude, wasn't early
driving
class.
here. I
Dude.
drove
Oh
here
my
just
God.
now.
So we
and I
all were
was like,
commuters.
yeah.
We all were
That was
commuters at that time
ass.
too.
That
was
sucked.
crazy. I had to wake up at like I think 6:30 to get to class on time.
Yeah.
because I hit so much traffic
dude. Traffic.
because everyone's trying to go to New York City.
Majority of the time, I took the train, and then the days that I was late, like I overslept or whatever, I drove my dad's car.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like I remember
yeah.
one time I called
Yeah.
in.
through the she
Zoom.
Also,
The Zoom, yeah.
She also
It was a
had
hybrid.
a hybrid class.
Yeah.
So he would call. He would be on the phone, and you just see him driving.
Like she put me on the freaking projector.
Yeah, it was hilarious. No, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
That was
Now,
hilarious.
dude, on what I realized about caffeine is caffeine is good when caffeine works better when you barely have it.
Yeah.
So I take caffeine knowing that if I'm going to stay up, I'll take it.
So there is a little bit of reasoning as to why I drink coffee or like other energy drinks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that like when I don't drink any caffeine, so it's a whole day of no caffeine whatsoever. That'll be either like on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever.
Right.
When I'm not going to school, I'm not
Right.
really. I'm just staying home,
Right.
chilling. I noticed that like my ability to
Function.
not just function, but just keep up with people and just consume information and come up with something to say in response to somebody else. My ability to do that, like there was a significant decrease.
It's called cognitive function.
Cognitive function.
Yeah.
dude.
So
Your cognitive
so
function is
I'm-
decreased.
I'm like reliant on caffeine.
I mean,
in
you can
order
get out
to-
of that, but it's a process.
I can
Yeah,
get out of
it's
that,
a
but that
process.
would mean what? It would mean a.
You'd have to do that with.
But yeah, what would the detox? How long would that be?
I mean,
Like a week?
yeah, I don't.
Ugh.
I'm not. Obviously, I don't have enough
Yeah.
information in front of me to give you like a solid answer, but
Yeah.
I think that from what you're explaining to me and what I've learned through like my courses is that you have a heavy addiction
You
to.
do. It's an
caffeine,
addiction, dude.
yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
a problem.
It got to the
it's a
point
problem.
one time where like once so one
Your
can
body
of
is
Celsius,
reliant on caffeine.
yeah, one can of Celsius, I think it's like a 12 ounce, has 200 milligrams of caffeine, and I would drink that, and then I'd feel normal, and then I would drink another one to feel the effects
And there
of
you
caffeine.
just hit your 400 milligram
Boom,
daily
400
limit.
milligrams.
Think about
in-
think
before
think about,
12
like,
o'clock.
alcohol. Think about alcohol and other drug consumption. Like
Yeah.
when you become reliant on it, and that's why when it's time to get away from that and stop
detox,
drinking
yeah.
and detox, it's crazy because your body physically cannot handle the fact that it's reliant on alcohol.
Yep.
That's why there are cases when you go to the hospital and you're an alcoholic and you're going through withdrawal. There's a whole bunch of controversy on. There's nurses who will slip their patient like alcohol really quickly just so they could like feel better for a second because
Yeah.
the physical pain is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So your mental
I mean, I
health.
don't get any
turns-
physical
turns
pain.
physical. Well, not yet. I'm saying like there's going to be a point in time. Well, it's also caffeine. So caffeine is
I'm
just
probably just gonna feel
yeah.
depressed.
yeah. It's not like alcohol or like other drugs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I say alcohol is more of a
Oh my god, dude.
serious. But caffeine still. I mean, people. I know I'm gonna sound crazy for it, but caffeine is still technically a drug.
Technically,
it is
Technically,
no,
it's
no,
a drug.
It is. It's not.
It's
technically.
addictive.
Alcohol,
So is sugar.
It's a stimulant.
It's a stimulant.
Yeah.
It's a stimulant. So it's more of being able to control your intake and regulate it. You know, you can't function without caffeine either, dude.
I can function, but just not as well.
It's not as efficiently. Well, that's
Not
not
as efficient.
functioning up to par,
Yeah.
basically. Which is the same thing. Like some people, it's not that you can't function without alcohol. It's simply that you feel like you can't because
So as of today, I've had 1 Celsius, one of these, and this is my second one.
Dude,
So
your
I've
stomach
had
is-
425 milligrams, and I'm almost done with this one. So almost how much is that? That's 450 plus 200. This is almost 650 grams of caffeine, and it's not even.
Yeah, you're well over your daily intake.
It's not even.
dude, that's gonna be
the
bad for
five
your like
of
your mental health.
Yeah,
long
and
term.
your stomach.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm drinking a
that's-
lot of water. Like I'm fine. I'm also eating like food in
Yeah,
moderation.
Still,
I don't
dude.
know, man.
Still, dude. In order to protect your mental
I'm
health, and
fine. Like
insanity-
my poop is looking good too.
I mean, you'll be fine now. It's more about like
Long
Logan was saying,
term.
long term.
Yeah.
I started taking creatine.
Man, I don't, why are we going to this now?
I low-key think creatine, low-key, I think, I know someone who has never taken creatine, has also never taken anything
Pre-workout?
Like
pre-workout,
supplements or whatever, yeah.
any supplement, period, and he's, well,
Like Jeff?
genetics also plays
Yeah,
Yeah,
plays a
it
role
that
does
plays a
into
huge
it.
role. And guess what?
But it's also
Steroids
like-
also play a
He
huge
doesn't,
role.
he doesn't take he doesn't take
Steroids,
steroids,
yeah.
but
Little
it's more.
SARS, maybe.
I think it's more because of like his consistency.
Yeah, man. I
Well,
mean, some
how long-
people are lucky, man.
That
Like,
too.
you know.
But how long has he been doing it for?
He started going to the gym. Well, now he's like 2 years in, but he was progressively showing significant mass gain like 6 months in. Kind of like you too, Logan. Actually, like 6 months
Yeah.
in, you were
Yeah, well,
progressing.
Congrats,
I also,
bro.
I also like. We can get into
You
this.
also
Let's get
grind.
into
The
it.
bulk,
Grind.
dude. Never.
From start, dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did you
when'd
ever
you start?
Did
When'd
you ever
start?
dirty bowl? Did you dirty bowl?
Yes, dude.
And was that a mistake?
yes.
Yes, it was.
Why?
Dude,
Why
all
was-
right.
Because it's BS, dude.
Bad, man. It's bad. Okay, so at school, going back to, should I give a little background about? where
Yeah,
I'm at?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did a year here at UConn Stanford, and I knew I wanted to either go to Stores or go somewhere else.
Right.
Stores, for some reason,
Just didn't
told me
click for
they
you.
told me I need to do 2 years here, and I was like, I'm not doing 2 years here. I'm sorry.
Why? Why? You have to do 2 years here?
Yeah, they want, but
He was a
this is
freshman.
crazy.
You have to remember
This is
he's
crazy.
You were a sophomore,
So,
a freshman. You have to have
I-
a certain amount of credits to transfer over to
Transfer
stores.
up.
That's
Yeah.
stupid.
No, but
Okay.
listen. So the head, after I applied to schools, after I did all that process to apply to schools, that some head of sociology or something saw that I did well in that class,
Right.
and they sent me a handwritten email, and I think it's because our professor for sociology told somebody that I was going to transfer.
Right.
And
we
they
have a
want,
pretty
and they
good
wanted to,
sociology
yeah, they
program.
wanted to retain me. So they emailed me and was like, "Hey, are you interested in coming up to Stores? We'd love to have you here.
Right.
We can accelerate the process, whatever."
Right.
And I was like,
It's
"Thanks
too
for
late.
telling me after I applied to like
Seven
seven
schools.
schools. Like, thanks for doing that." And like that kind of just that rubbed me the wrong way. I
Right.
mean, the whole process of trying to transfer out of here was just like a mess. Like I had a really good support group as far as like my teachers. Like I had 2 teachers write me recommendations that were just solid,
Right.
really great teachers. I mean, I have nothing against the actual like faculty here. Like I think that the teachers were great. I just know that if I was at Stores in those classes with like 200 to 300 people,
Right.
man, I'd be lost.
Yeah.
There'd be no way. I mean,
Yeah.
I ended up applying to a bunch of schools in Virginia because
Right.
I thought Virginia would be be far away enough where it was like I'm a good part away from school or away from home rather,
Right.
but I'm not like so far where I have to like fly every time I come home because
Right.
I want to be driving distance. So I applied to a bunch of schools down there, UVA, Richmond, Davidson, William and Mary, Radford, University of Mary, Washington, and Christopher Newport University.
Right.
And I got into everything except for Davidson. I got waitlisted or was accepted into everything but Davidson.
Right.
And I ended up going with Richmond just because they gave so much financial aid. It was
Yeah, I
cheaper.
remember you
It
were
was
telling
cheaper
me.
to go there
You told me.
than go to stores,
Yeah,
which was absurd.
you told me that.
It's
Yeah,
not even in state.
yeah, which
Yeah,
is
that's crazy.
That means
Um,
Richmond has a lot of.
Yeah, so getting into that, I had a friend, or my sister. It's a whole story, but
Right.
my sister knew this lady from work who her daughter went to Richmond. So when she found out that I was going, she flew me down. I mean, this lady has money. She
Right.
flew me down. Great lady though, amazing lady.
Right.
She flew me down. I toured the campus, and after the campus tour, I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go here.
beautiful.
Like this place is beautiful. They're giving me plenty of financial aid to go
Right.
here. Like, I can't say no to this. Like, I was still waiting to hear back from William and Mary and UVA
Mhm.
on financial aid.
Right.
But I was like, man, I can't say no. So I
Do you-
committed.
Do you quick note on that? After the process was over and you were actually over there
Yeah.
at Richmond and you were living on campus, did you feel was there a mental health shift? Like, how was your mental health as a commuter versus living on campus?
I mean, I liked it here. I don't think there's anything wrong with being here.
well, not here specifically. More
Like
of
commuting
commuting
to
versus staying
living
on
there.
campus.
I love living on campus. I mean, we have a beautiful campus, so it's hard not to like
you
it.
lived here too, right?
Yeah, so
for like
I
a
lived
week.
here. I lived at the apartments for about a month, but it just wasn't worth it, man. Like, I was
Yeah.
paying more, and I was going home because at the time I had a girlfriend that lived where I lived, and I was driving home
forgot
like
about
I was driving home like 2 or 3
Forgot
times a
about that.
week. So I was like, man, I'm only staying here. You don't remember this?
Dude, he was dating a girl for like 5 years.
Wait, you guys
Not 5
did
years.
you guys break up?
I'm over
Yeah, we
it.
broke up.
What? I didn't know you guys broke up.
Yeah,
Dude, they
before
broke up.
we went to school, man.
They broke up,
What?
Yeah, we can get into that off the podcast.
What?
That's a story.
That's a
That's a story for off the podcast.
Yeah, that's the story for the boys.
But yeah, so I was
when
going
they broke
home.
up, I stopped believing in love. But anyway,
I know. Yeah, so I started I was home a lot, and I was like, man, I'm not really loving living here. Like,
right?
it's cool, but not
Is
having
it worth it?
Yeah, like not having the dining hall and doing all that stuff for yourself. Like, it was cool, but
Not worth the money.
not worth the money.
Not worth the money.
So started living at home. I loved it. I loved commuting. It's great. The drive kind of sucked. The drive was like 25 minutes.
That's
each
the
way.
worst part of commuting.
Um,
driving, to be
But
honest.
saved a lot of money, man.
100%.
I got a lot back that I somehow ended up getting money back from the school. I
From
still
here?
don't- Yeah, because I paid. I don't know, man. I don't know how it
You don't
worked
have to
out.
go deep
Yeah,
into
I don't know how it
financials,
worked
yeah.
out, but I ended up getting a little back, so I saved that and ended up going towards my tuition for
Right.
this past school year.
Right.
But yeah, man, I'm down at Richmond. It's a very different environment.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the kids are just like loaded. Like it's insane. Like, it's
It
actually
has
insane.
the word "rich" in its name.
Yeah, it's insane. But a lot of the kids are really nice. I still have yet to meet someone who kind of thinks they're just like better than everyone else. There's
Right, right.
obviously,
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean,
That's kind of surprising, actually.
like, kids that I've had personal experiences with, I've never had that happen. But
Right.
yeah, a lot of
Nobody's,
the kids.
stuck up there.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, you guys know me. I keep my circle small. That's
Yeah.
how it rolls.
That's
but
that's something I'm working on doing now, actually, and so is Josh.
Yeah.
We were just discussing.
gotta
how,
have good people around you, man.
Yeah, it's we're both Josh and I are really likable and social butterflies.
Yeah,
So-
we're all
Major
all
social
of us,
butterflies.
Yeah.
So it's like learning how to limit yourself and not having to discuss with people who don't really. It's okay to be cordial with a lot of people.
It's
Yes.
It's not
so
okay
hard.
Yeah,
to
it's
have a
hard.
whole bunch of people in your circle.
It's hard
Yeah.
to just like especially when you already develop those relationships,
Relationships.
and now you just okay, these you realize these people aren't really that beneficial to you,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything for you.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always think about. It's like the way that I kind of cut my circle down was like I would do this. Say okay, I would drive this kid to the airport
Right.
any day. Any day he needs it, I'm driving him to the airport. Would
Right.
you do that for me?
Mm.
Or it's like I call this kid at 9:30. I got something going on. I got to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
would he do that for me?
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
do that for him, but would he do that for me?
If the answer is no, you got to
Then you got to cut it, man.
It's not. It's no an expired. You see this on social media all the time. An expired friendship isn't like beef or like a problem.
Yeah, I
It's
Just,
just-
yeah.
You guys aren't compatible anymore. It's,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Or
People
were
come and go.
you ever compatible? To be honest, it could have always been a one-sided relationship, like you said for that example. I know for a fact, if I'm going through something, there are times where like I'm going through something that I just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
I could call either you guys, like especially you, Josh. Like more recently, I could call Josh and just talk, and vice versa.
Yeah. of
We don't
course.
have to do it every instance, but I know that when I need it,
Yeah, when stuff
We'll
hits
be
the
there.
fan, you
Be there.
you got
Yeah.
people around you, man.
Exactly.
Of course. Because like when I first got down there, going back to it, I honestly I didn't like it when I first got there.
right?
I had a really interesting roommate.
Mhm.
Just did some things, and I was like, I gotta get out of this room. Like it
Right.
was affecting my mental health. I was like, I gotta leave this room, otherwise I'm gonna end up wanting to go home.
Yeah.
So about like 6 weeks in, I was able to get out of that room. That was a whole thing. And then I moved to a different building with it was a double connected to a single with a bathroom in the middle. So they call it a
Okay.
suite there. So you
Okay.
walk in,
Right.
there's a door, bathroom, sink, and then to the right there's another door. I got my bed and my roommate's bed, and then to the left there's another kid in a single, another roommate, suite mate, I would
Right.
say.
Right.
And they were great kids, man. I couldn't ask any better. The kid that I was living with right next to me, I was like, "Hey, man, can I shut the lights off at like 9:30?" He's like, "Yeah." He's
Right.
totally great
Okay with
kid.
that.
Amazing
Compatible,
roommate.
compatible.
Yeah, amazing roommate. I can't. It didn't get any better than that.
It's not that people aren't compatible or doesn't have the capability of being compatible. They just might not be compatible for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
like you said, like you left that roommate. Somebody probably replaced you, and they could
They
have been
didn't.
best friend.
Yeah, no, this kid. This I'm not gonna get
Sheesh.
too much into it because it's obviously not my
Right.
business.
Right.
But
He's still alone.
he's still alone. He's actually
He's
moving
the
into an
problem.
apartment next year, which is great for him.
He's the problem. He's the problem. There are people like that too. Like you are the problem in the friend group. Like
I mean, he's a great kid. I just don't think he can live
Dude,
with
I
anybody.
can name like 5
That's
people that
terrible.
are like that.
Yeah, I just don't think he can live with somebody. I mean,
No.
it's some people are like that. I personally like living by myself. Next year I got a single.
right.
I
I like living by myself too, but I could still live with somebody. It's like manners.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
It's respect. It's respect. And
And
a lot of
adaptability.
adaptability.
a lot of kids there.
Well, they're
I've learned-
entitled in a way, so there's
Yeah,
no
I've
need
learned
to
that like
become-
their life. This is gonna sound crazy, really crazy, but like their life is like kind of a joke, man.
Yeah.
Like they haven't, and I'm not saying this to everybody because I
Right,
don't want
right,
to overgeneralize and make people feel bad,
Right.
but I've definitely met some kids that like they have their parents' credit card. Like
Right.
I would say a majority of the kids there have their parents' credit card.
Right.
Like they just whatever they want
Right.
can just buy it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Which
I,
is-
I just couldn't do
Which
that.
is absurd. And that makes me personally take a step back and be like, whoa.
Right.
I was always taught, like, my grandfather came here from Italy, and he had nothing.
Right.
He worked in landscaping,
Right.
saved up money, bought his own mowers, went to work 9 to 5 or 6 to 9, whatever it was, and then after that would cut more grass.
Right.
In order to build up his funds, and then eventually he got his license to start building. He
Right.
became a builder, and he's pretty successful now. So they kind of, I would give it to my grandparents, like the drive that I have. Like
Right.
he's pretty successful, but my mom. I grew up in Wilton, so a lot of the kids have a lot of money.
Right.
A lot of their dads are hedge
off.
fund guys. Yeah, they
Oh.
work in New York City. But my parents got divorced when I was very young. But my dad, he did construction, so
Right.
carpentry. I mean, if you own the business, yeah, you can make good money.
Right.
But if you're a laborer, you don't really can cap at like
Yeah.
$40 an hour,
Yeah.
depending on your specialty. Some dudes are really good and you make $80, $100 an hour.
Yeah.
It really depends.
Also takes time to get there.
Yeah,
too.
to get there.
Yeah.
But I never really. My grandparents definitely are well off. I'm not going to say that. Oh, like I'm
Right,
struggling
right.
in any way.
Right.
But like my mom definitely. If my grandparents weren't there, we wouldn't be in Wilton.
Right.
Put it that way.
Right.
But my mom's always done the absolute best to give me what she can.
Right.
But
And you recognize that.
yeah, and I recognize that she's doing her
It's
thing.
honestly good that you recognize that, because there's a lot of kids out there that don't really, they're just ignorant to what the hell's going on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they just take advantage, and they just keep on taking and taking and taking,
Yeah.
and don't realize until like it's too late.
It's
Yeah,
also
I
like
mean-
entitlement as well. Like there's gonna be families out there who can't support the same way they used to, which is like over supporting, and the child is so entitled where it's like, I don't realize that my dad's no longer a licensed doctor. He got sued, lost his license. He's not making the same money anymore.
Yeah.
I still deserve this. I still deserve you to pay this and pay that. It comes with the entitlement. So a lot of people in our schools in general, if you take away that support from a financial level on their parents, they won't realize like, oh, I need to take a step back as well.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of people just need a reality check.
Yeah,
We've
100%.
Yeah.
talked about this before.
Yeah.
100%.
No, yeah, it was just crazy going down there, going back to that, and just like seeing kids like drive around like brand new like Maseratis and
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's
Dude.
crazy, man. It's
Yeah.
a different
It's a different vibe.
it's a different world, man.
Yeah.
Like these kids live in a different world, and it's not like they're bad people.
Right.
Like the thing that I've been trying to recognize more, because in high school I was always like, oh, these kids are
Terrible,
ridiculous, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
But if that's what you grow up around,
That's what
how do
you
you know any different? Like if you grew up, your mom has a Maserati, your dad has a brand new BMW, whatever. Like that's what you know.
It's also
They don't
I feel
understand money and hard work.
I feel like that. I feel like. Okay, so in my future, my goal is for my kids to be well off.
Yeah,
Right. Period.
Likewise, yeah,
But it's not going to stop me from teaching them humility.
yeah,
Right.
So I think it also comes from maybe not just the parents, but the parents before them, et cetera, where they never came from a place of humility, so they couldn't teach how to be humble about stuff.
hmm
Because just because your kids are well off, or just because my parents are well off, doesn't mean I have to be a bad person because of it. So it's all about teaching. Like, we know ourselves for when our kids are, driving around in pretty decent cars,
Yeah.
et cetera, whatever, that they're not bragging it and pushing it into people's face. They understand the hard work that went into that and the work they have to do too.
Yeah, and I mean, even with me, like, I started my own thing. You started your own thing. Like, we're hardworking kids, Like, there's not a lot of people that I know personally
Right.
that started their own their
Right.
own gig. You know what I mean? Like, that takes a lot of ambition
Yeah.
and a lot of drive. So it's like, because it's in the beginning, I had no clients. Like,
Right.
it was hard. I was making like $100 a week. Like, it wasn't sustainable, but. You keep at it. You keep working at it. You
Consistency.
build up a clientele. You keep working, and it'll work out for you.
It'll pay back.
This conversation just reminded me of the quote: "Hard times create strong men create good times
Mm.
create weak men, and weak men create hard times."
Yeah, that's what's
100%.
personally. That's what I think's going on in our country right now.
Right now, yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly
yeah.
what's going on.
I think that's what's going on. My grandma,
I agree.
my grandmother, my nonna. I'm Italian, so my nonna and nonna. We're actually having dinner because I always eat with them. It's a traditional thing. Like, I live with them now,
Right.
and I eat with them every night. So
Tradition.
for the most part, yeah,
Right.
it's like it's crazy to me. Like, I go to my friends' houses and one kid's eating dinner in the family room. The mom's eating dinner in wherever, and then the dad's upstairs doing work, and it's just like, I don't know, it's crazy. But we were talking about current events or
Right,
current
right, right,
situations,
right,
and I was
right.
explaining to them. I feel like that quote is like such a reflection of like what, like, just think about the issues we have right now,
Right.
compared to like 30 years ago. Like 30 years ago, we were like fighting wars and like trying to
Right.
make sure that our country would like stay afloat in a way.
Yeah.
But now it's just all kinds of things going on.
Right.
All kinds of things.
People are getting
Agree.
too comfortable.
Way
Yeah.
too comfortable. Way
Yeah.
too comfortable. This actually reminds me of a topic that I was discussing with some friends of mine. Right. The importance of voting, especially if you're black.
The importance of what?
Voting,
Okay.
especially if you're black, and the reason why I think it's important to vote is because I feel like a lot of us are very comfortable with the idea of not voting, just to like remain in the middle, which isn't really a problem. But I feel like if you're black, the reason why you have to vote is 30 years ago we couldn't vote.
Couldn't vote, yeah.
Well, not 30 years ago. Obviously, I'm
A little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
longer than that, but yeah.
right.
yeah.
Listen, in the past, like they were working hard to get the stuff that we have.
So in
And
respect,
then-
you're saying in
right.
respect to them, you should be voting.
We're too comfortable, not just for voting, but we're too comfortable with the idea. If you're black and you do not want to vote, you're too comfortable with that idea because you wouldn't have that option.
If it wasn't for these people, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like back in the same with working, et cetera, et cetera. In our country right now, there's barely people starting business, et cetera, our age, because they're very comfortable. But back in the time, like everybody had to find some type of trade to survive.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. I feel like money back then too is like so different than it is now. People
100%.
are way more materialistic now. It's like,
100%.
what can I buy? Rather
Especially
than
with like more uses of credit cards.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
easy. The feeling of cold, hard cash. Dude, in my wallet, I always like carry on cash with me. And I'm always so hesitant on giving my cash
Yeah.
as opposed to like my credit card.
I agree.
Like, oh yeah, just swipe,
Same.
swipe, or tap. Dude, the
Same.
tap feature,
Same.
crazy,
Same.
that is a problem. That is addictive.
I have one of my cards, one of my debit cards. I don't have it on Apple Pay, only because I know that's the debit card that I have that usually has the most funds.
Yeah.
And if I have it's not connected to Zelle, it's not connected to Cash App, and I would go somewhere and say, should I spend $500 on this? But I know the $500 is in that account, and there's no way to like transfer it.
Dude,
So-
money is so
'Cause
meaningful.
if
Like,
I had it, I just would have spent it.
when you work long, sweaty hours to get some cold, hard cash,
yeah.
like you're not, it's so much harder to give that
to
away.
Give that away. Yeah.
As opposed to, I don't know, your dad or mom's credit card.
Right.
You're just like, oh yeah, this is meaningless to
so
me.
different.
Way
Yeah,
different.
it's so
So
different.
When I first started working at McDonald's and got paid $10 an hour, $10.10 an hour,
Jesus.
and I went out and I bought like a meal for like $10.
That was the best meal.
Not only that, it was the best meal. It was like this burger, fries, and drink cost an hour.
An hour of work. Yeah.
dude.
it's not worth it.
Even now, like getting paid, like with my trade, I get paid ranging between $20 and $50 an hour. So even now, even if it's $50 an hour, and I spend something, and I spend $50, especially if it's cash, I'm way more hesitant to spend it because it's like,
Yeah, you're not even willing to spend it on food that you need. Well, like,
Yeah.
what makes you think I'm willing to like go out, like your friends go out?
Exactly.
You're like, oh, Johnson, you should come. Like, you should come out, drink with us.
way more reserved. Way more reserved.
Yeah, dude, I don't understand
Hard
the
pass.
kids down there. I don't know how they do it, man. Like, I couldn't even afford to do what they do.
Right.
Like, these kids are going out Thursday night to either like a lodge. We have like lodges on campus, which is
Right.
pretty much like it's kind of like a frat house.
Right,
it's,
right,
it's
right.
I don't know really. It's they throw parties, whatever. That's
Right.
free. You don't have to pay anything. But a lot of kids go to the bars. They go off campus. They're paying for Ubers. It
It's
racks up.
expensive, yeah.
It racks up, man. I don't know how. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's their money that's
Right.
paying
obviously.
for it. But like me personally, I couldn't live that lifestyle, even if I wanted to. Like,
You're just losing so much.
I couldn't
money.
live it. Like I would. I'm sure that those kids spend at least $100 every
And
weekend.
then imagine
Only?
having
Uh-huh.
what?
Only? Way
I mean,
more.
because but the problem is
Way
like
more.
when you go to like the lodges, you can just go up to because the frats provide the alcohol. You can just go up to
So the alcohol's free.
Yeah,
If the
but
alcohol
but if
wasn't
you go
free-
out, to like there's a bar Cheney's, like if you go down there, you're spending to get the Uber because you're not driving. Obviously,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
paying to get an Uber, which is high prices because they know it's college kids that want to go.
Right.
Then you're there. Then a drink is what like $6-7 at least,
And you're
If
not-
could be
more.
more.
Well, it depends what you
Yeah,
get.
it
If
could
you're
be
getting a
more.
cocktail, it's
And
like
you're not
in
leaving
the
with one.
teens.
You're not leaving.
Yeah,
with
you're
one
not
drink.
drinking one drink, and then you're
Yeah.
paying for the Uber back, and then most of the time you're getting food
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
drunk and want to
Eat.
And
eat.
food is
Yeah.
expensive, dude. Food is expensive.
Dude.
Yes, bro. In
Food is
Virginia,
expensive.
you guys are not gonna
If
believe
you
this.
want to bodybuild, bro, it's expensive.
No, but you need the dining hall, bro. The dining hall was goated. We never got into that.
Oh.
The dining hall was goated.
Dude.
Bro, tax in Virginia for food is 1%. Here it's 7.35. I went to Chipotle. Yeah. Listen, I go to Chipotle.
1%,
Yes,
dude?
I go to Chipotle. It's $9. It's $9 for a bowl.
Are we living in
what-
the wrong place?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that we're gonna have to move, right?
We're moving to Virginia.
Nah, you're paying the high taxes to get this amazing place to live. That's that's what you're paying
Oh,
for.
Yeah, yippee.
No, man, that was an eye opener. Going down there compared to here, so different.
dude.
It solidified. Like I didn't like it here before I left. I was like, oh, like I don't want to live in this place when I'm older,
Right.
bro. I want to live here when I'm older. Either Stanford, Norwalk, New Canaan, Wilton,
Why?
someplace around.
What?
Bro, the schools, the public.
Connecticut
So you're
Yes.
saying for your future generations,
Yes.
not okay. Right.
Maybe not when I graduate,
Right, to, like,
Because
settle
it's
down.
expensive.
When it's
But
time
like,
to settle
yeah,
down.
like my kids, I want them going somewhere around here.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is
Connecticut
just
has top-notch schools.
yeah.
So-
I mean, even like if you go up to like Guilford and stuff, like those schools are still good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like-
grew up in Fairfield, and I would want my kids going through the same thing that I went through.
Connecticut
100%.
schooling is actually like one of the top in the country. It's Connecticut,
Yeah.
Mass, like we're pretty high up there. Like if not top 5, no, we're definitely top 5 in education
Yeah.
because our schools are pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what you're paying for.
To be honest.
in
I
my
think
opinion.
I think if I become like financially stable, not just financially stable, like financially well off, like
Right.
rich,
Right.
I'd want to hide that from my kids, so they
Hide what specifically?
hide like my wealthiness.
It would be subtle wealth.
It'd be subtle wealth.
Yeah.
Like we'd still be driving like modest cars.
Right.
We'd be living in a modest house, but like I wouldn't want to show
I
that I'm
disagree.
rich for like in front of my kids
Mhm.
because I'd want them to grow up the way I grew up with the same sort of mentality. And I feel like showing them that we have money is going to alter their perspective.
I
Like,
kinda
why
disagree.
can't I get a phone? Blah blah blah.
I
Like,
disagree. The only reason why I disagree is because I feel like I want to be able to show them both. And the reason why I want that is, okay, I'm going
show
to
them what they're missing out on.
not necessarily. I want them to be able to, like, for example, let's say I feel like I work hard and I'm going to deserve the house that I buy for my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to deserve to drive a luxury vehicle, and all of us driving luxury vehicles. I feel like I worked hard enough to deserve that. I don't plan on doing too much. I don't plan on going over the top, but like one of my dream cars is like an S class because I'm probably not even going to drive it that much, but I just want to be able to feel luxurious in it because I deserve it and I worked hard for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hide that from my kid, but I am going to make it clear, like, this isn't something that I'm going to give to you. Like, my
Yeah,
estate, I'm
yeah.
not handing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Steve Harvey once was like, he has to remind his kids that he's rich, not his kids. So,
Yeah.
I want my kids to learn eventually that,
Like
like
you'll still provide for them, but
Wh-
like
which is true
to an extent.
To an extent. Same thing with Shaquille O'Neal. Like, I'm rich, not you. So I want to be in a position where I have the upper hand and I could provide the life
Yeah.
and the knowledge.
Would you
Yeah,
give them
yeah.
an allowance?
No.
No, bro.
No.
I worked for my allowance. Like
No.
I did the chores and everything. I got
No.
paid for it.
No.
Why not?
No, I
Because-
didn't get paid for.
Yeah.
I just did chores out of discipline.
I didn't get paid a lot. It was like what $3 a week.
Oh,
But like
That's
it-
okay.
No.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
That's
I-
30. I
no,
thought
no,
you
no.
meant like 20 bucks, 30
No,
bucks.
no,
Dude
no.
was saving his
When-
$3 a week for years.
Dude's trying to buy
No,
the brand
over
new
time.
Xbox game he saved for like 24 weeks.
every year,
Half a year.
every year it increased by $1, and pretty much my dad's mentality was like it shows you how to
work for your money.
how to understand money.
Okay,
you
yeah,
worked for
okay.
this money.
Okay.
This money is yours. You get to determine what you want to do with this
Right,
money.
right.
Okay,
Right.
so. It goes back to what I was saying about
Right.
cold hard cash. Okay, you did chores, you earned money, you get to decide what you want to do with this money.
I'm not doing that. Only because I don't disagree with
You
the
want to
method.
want your kid. Hold on, how is your kid going to understand how
Can I
to
get
properly spend? Sure,
Let me speak.
Can I
that's
get
just that's just the question I wanted to ask.
like that my response was going to entail the response to that anyway, only because I feel like for me personally, I'm going to do something similar to what like my dad did, right? And I think it worked for me, and it might not work for everybody else, but I like for chores in general, my dad never paid me for chores only because he wanted to make it clear to me that there's certain things you have to do, period. When you're living alone, when you're
Yeah.
living with your family, you're supposed to like take a shower. You're supposed to clean the bathroom. If something's dirty in the house, nobody's gonna clean it if you can't expect somebody to clean it for you. You have to clean it. So when I was younger, my mom always did my bed, like always did my room, all of that. My mom would tell her to stop eventually because it's like I became dependent on that. And nobody's going to do it for me if I don't. So I started cleaning my own room, doing that. And then my dad made me do that for the house. Like, if something's messy and I walk by it, don't walk by a piece of trash on the floor just because, you know. But if my dad was around and I was getting paid, I would have, like, cleaned up, and be like, you see that? Like, when it came to money, I kind of separated it from, like, things that you have to do in life and things that you have to do more than just chores. Like, I don't want the the boundary to be like, oh, I do chores, I get money. It's more like you have to go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my goal was, there's two ways of doing that. If you go out of your way to enhance the way that the house looks, like if you go downstairs, grab a can of paint, and you paint your room and make it look better, I can give you a stipend for that. Or if you do, like if you take an extra step, or my second way would be, if you go out and find a way to make money on your own, I'd help you increase. Like my
Yeah, with
business, for
that.
example, if
Yeah.
my dad could, but I didn't ask for that. But what I want to do with my kid, if I see my kid starting something, I'm gonna buy him a lawnmower if he needs lawnmower, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch him using the crappy lawnmower, and I'm gonna give him money. I'm like, hey, like, go get yourself a new lawnmower because this is ugly, and here's some extra cash because of your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's supporting it,
Yeah,
encouraging it, positive
exactly.
reinforcement, man.
But it is time for us to end. Unfortunately,
Can't believe that.
It's time for us to end. It's almost been
There's,
an hour.
there's so much more to talk about too, which is crazy.
Which is why you should
Part
be
two,
on
part two,
another.
part two.
No, forget part 2. A whole new episode with Logan.
Bro, I'm down.
Whole
I'm
new
down.
episode with Logan.
There's
but
so much more. We could talk about the bulk, talk about
I
life-
wanted to talk
life
about
at
next
Richmond.
episode. Thank you for joining in. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, any topics that you think we should bring up, please feel free to DM me on Instagram, Talks with Johnson, or
comment down
comment
below.
down below.
Yeah.
Comment
Yeah,
down
leave,
below.
leave a little comment. I
Leave
mean,
a
we're,
Like, subscribe, share,
Of course. And as
all
usual,
that jazz.
I am Johnson Celestin. That is,
I'm Josh.
Logan.
and it was a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.